Hi everybody, this is TJ with NetPicks and the Trend Jumper trading strategy. We're in the midst of our final public launch. I want to welcome all our newest members. I thought it would be nice to do a walkthrough of some of today's trades. There was some great trading today. A lot of these markets are the same markets that we were showing over the last few webinars, so I thought I would just follow through and show you how it went today. These are the same markets we'll be trading in the live trade room as well. I want to start out with crude oil futures. This is the first futures market that we typically trade. Starts at 8:50 Eastern Standard Time, and today presented us with a couple things that I thought I would clear up right away, especially for our new members. We had to get in sync with an earlier trade. Okay, we had a trade right here. It's at 8:38, and that's 12 minutes before we start at 8:50. Another thing is that the stop, you'll notice, is at 74.56. We do a maneuver that we call key level adjustments. When you get your training materials, you're going to learn all about this. But in short, we adjust our entries and our stops around fives and zeros. So the 5 in this case would be 74.55. So if we're one tick away, we'll adjust it one tick beyond. So we're going to move our stop from 74.56, adjust it around the 55 level to 54. We have learned through experience that this small adjustment makes a big difference. And so we continue to do it. We've been doing it for years. So again, we adjust around fives and zeros on most markets, not all, crude oil being one of them. So if the stop is at 56, we'll adjust it around the 55 level to 54. If this was at, for example, 74.61, well, that's one tick off of a zero, right? 74.60. We would adjust the stop down to 74.59. Okay, and it's just something we do. Let's look at the entry. The entry is at 74.67. We don't need to make an adjustment. But if that entry was at 74.69, then we would adjust it to 74.71. You see? So we have to keep an eye on this trade. It's still 12 minutes before our start time, but we have to make sure we understand where we're going to be placing our stop. Okay? So look what happens. It ends up hitting the printed stop. Our actual stop is at 54. So this trade is still alive. As long as it has not hit a money management level or hasn't stopped out, if it were to come back up at our start time, we'd still be able to take the trade. Okay? And it does. It comes up, but it's still 1 minute too soon. So what happens on the next minute? It hits the entry. You see at 8:52? And so we have to go long here. We're going long at 74.67. We put our stop at 74.54, and our target is at 74.81. And it goes right up to it. It hits the full target. Now we're going to move our stop from here up to here and lock in one tick to protect our position. Okay? We do this on our trade platform. And then it comes down and literally, well, you'll see the jump line moves up. So we start working around the jump line. The jump line's at 72. We go two ticks below that to 74.70. Work around the zero. So the stop would go to 69. And that's actually where it's going to stop out at 69. So the trailer only made 2 ticks. But it was a positive trade. One and done. That's our power of quitting goal. We hit our full winner. We have a positive result. We're done for the session. Now, there were a lot of other really great trades to follow, but we've found that if you just stay consistent, less is more, stick to your power of quitting one, you're going to end up with fabulous results. If you did that this week, you would have only had one losing trade with crude oil, and the net result with 2 positions would have been $1.16. $1,160. All right, let's look at the euro-yen, the 5-minute chart. This is today's trading. If you're brand new to Trend Jumper, this might look a little confusing, and even as I walk you through the trades, you might be confused a little bit with what we do. This is a customized trade plan that we use specifically for this chart. And there is an advanced training video on the Owners Club that I want to encourage you to look at if you're going to trade the euro-yen with the 5-minute chart, okay? So I'm going to walk through it fairly quickly. We start at 8:20 Eastern Standard Time. There's a setup at 8:15, a long trade, and it triggers in 2 bars later at 8:25. All right. The entry is at 144.957, so we're going to take that extra digit and round it up to 96, and we're going to assume that we have 2 pips of spread, so we're going to say that we got in at 144.98. Okay. And it didn't go very well. It came right back down and stopped out at 144.84. Now, obviously, this is not a very attractive chart, and this is enough to make a lot of inexperienced traders either second guess the trade or want to quit. It's obviously very choppy, but we have a trade plan. The trade plan has been working very well. Yesterday, it hit a new record profit level. That's how well it's been working. Let's just see how the plan did today. Okay, there's a possible short here. That trade's going to cancel. There's another short here, and that one's going to trigger in. And that one triggers in at 144.81. Now, I don't adjust my entries on the euro yen. Okay, I mean, I will if this was at 144.80. Then I would adjust it to 79. But I'm not going to adjust it from 8.1 to 7.9. Okay, I will adjust my stops the way I explained. So, for example, here the stop is at 144.89. I'll adjust that to 91. I want to give the trade a little extra room. The reason I'm not adjusting the entries in this case, unless it's right on a 5 or 0, is because we also have to account for spread costs. Okay, and it just becomes too expensive. And I also found that it hasn't been necessary. And in this case, you could have adjusted it. You still would have triggered in. And look at how it hits the second target. The only problem is it's just too small of a target. If we're getting it at 81 and it goes down to 77, I mean, that's 4 pips. You got to figure 2 pips of spread on your buy side, so it would be on the exit of this trade. You're only going to make 2 pips. And for that reason, when the targets are too small, we're going to ignore them. And instead, we're going to go with a 15 pip and 25 pip target level. And that's after the 2 pips of spread. Okay? You'll see how this goes. Again, there's an advanced training video on the Owners Club that walks through a lot of examples. It's really important that you understand this if you're going to trade this trade plan. You're going to want to practice it. Okay? And it's going to lose. So we start out with 2 losing trades in a row, and if you're new to Trend Jumper, you might be gun shy to take the 3rd trade. But the trade plan allows you to take 4 trades up until 12 o'clock noon. It also allows you to take 1 add-on position, provided it's a trending market. Okay? So could you add on this position on the short? Theoretically, you might be able to, except that you just don't see any signs of a trending market. Okay? So I would say no. So here you take the long trade, and this trade has got some really nice targets. They're big enough that we don't have to ignore them. We're just going to use these targets. So we're going to go from 144.96. Again, if I'm on the 5, I'm going to adjust it 1 pip above it. If that was at 144.94, I would have left it there. That's the difference with the entries. Okay? The stop is at 144.79. So that one I'm just going to leave where it is. So if the entry's at 96, you assume you're getting filled at 98, adding 2 pips of spread. And if you're going to 145.13, that's more than the minimum required. So we're going to use that target, and we're going to use that target. And this is what happens. When we get to the 10 pip or 12 pip level, we're going to move our stop up and lock in. Okay, we didn't really need that though, because look what happens. It hits the first target here, and that was good for 15 pips. The second target's good for 22 pips. Remember, we are coming from behind, having lost 2 trades in a row, and now we can add to our position. Clearly a trending market, and that one gets in at 145.31, filled at 33 after spread, and the targets are nice and big, so we're going to stay with those, and you can see how it just continues upwards. Hits the middle target here. That one was good for 21 pips. Hits the next target here, and that one is good for 30 pips. Both these trades have the remaining third of their positions trailing the purple line. Last bar to close above, 145.50. 2 pips below that is 145.48, and that's where the stop is, and it stabs down to 145.47, and the rest of the trade stops out. The trailer on the first position made 50 pips. The trailer on the second position made 15 pips. All in all, this sequence today ended up with a 75 pip positive result. Power of quitting goal met, and that's the end of the session. Great session on the Euro-Yen, despite how rough it was in the early going. But when you stick to the trend jumper, the winning trades are going to come. Remember, the best trades come after the tight consolidations. We did avoid some of this mess, could not avoid all of it, because if we avoided this one, how would we have known to take this one? Right? We just have to stick to our trade plan. The trade plan continues to make new record profit levels on a steady basis. Today, the Euro-Yen did make a new record profit level again. Alright, I'm going to try to keep this video short. I hope you enjoyed it. This is TJ with netpicks.com and the PTU Trend Jumper trading strategy. I'll see you on the next one.